Hey there. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, bud. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, it's all good. Can't complain.
Sure you can. Try it. Hey, Wendy. Hello, Terry.
Hi.
Hey, James. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Andrew.
Hi. This is crazy. I don't have my mask on. I'm sorry. Oh, man. Well, it's
There's
4
a couple more
o'clock.
people that should be joining us.
There's what?
There's a couple more people that should be joining us.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. But we can go ahead and jump in and get started with some questions, and that way we make use of everyone's time. It's good to see all of you. So let's, Terry, this was a meeting that Terry and I kind of already had yesterday. And actually, James and I already had this meeting last night. I think at like midnight is when we stopped talking about it. Not just because I'm the night owl, and I'm sorry, James. I hope you didn't die today. But you know, the point of it, the reason why we started is, you know, is because Terry called me and said, you know, how do we get this whole presentation thing that we do in the classroom to people who are trying to watch online, and at the same time try to present in our classroom? And that got me thinking, well, man, if one person needs to know it or needs to brainstorm about it, then maybe a lot of other people do too. So, so that's why I wanted to give you a couple of tips and ideas, and also, of course, open it up to questions, and maybe I or someone else in the room can help to answer, because this is certainly a time when we're all looking for the best solution. I am teaching some courses at Southeastern this fall, and they've said already that, you know, no students can be in there without a mask. You need to be prepared for students to take your course in a hybrid way, even if they're in the dorm room across the street, you know, and they're gonna take your course like that. And I said, okay, well, I'm teaching a hands-on course. How are they supposed to do that? So anyway, it's craziness. Let's see, who else is here? I've only got video cameras on a few people. Some people are hiding. Hey guys, would you believe I have not had a phone call from my work all day, and I've got a phone call coming in right now? Oh well, they hung up. What a shame. Okay. I'll just have to text them and say I'm in a conference call. What do you need? Hey, I just started a conference call. Can I text you? All right, so we'll just see if that works. Okay, so here's some things that Terry and I have already talked about that I want to tell you about today, and then I want to open the floor up to any questions so I can make sure to cover as much as I possibly can. So we were talking about how to present, like I mentioned, to both an in-person class and also try to do as much as we can to let those who are watching online or at home enjoy the same experience. And Zoom or Microsoft Teams, and we'll talk a little bit about Teams, because I know that's, what is it called? Schoology? Schoology is something that the district is 100% behind, and that runs off of Microsoft Teams. Jeremy, am I correct on that?
To my knowledge, yep.
Okay, great. So we'll talk about Microsoft Teams as well, which I think has very similar functionality to Zoom, which is, of course, what we're using right now.
Can I just interject something real quick?
Yes, please do.
At our meeting today for the Schoology ambassadors, they told us that they purchased Zoom Enterprise for the district, and that would be the platform that they want everybody to use when communicating with students and parents.
Oh, that's fantastic. So we don't even have to worry about Microsoft Teams. I am just responding to my work here. Okay, well, then we can just talk about Zoom. So what I wanted to show you is a tool that I use with my church, actually, but I've also used it for streaming with Ignition Television at Kathleen. and it's called OBS. It stands for Open Broadcast, Open Broadcast Software. I'm like, not system, software. It is free, which is fantastic. And I will show you, let me pull up the website here so you can see where to go to get it. And I'll share my screen as well so that you can see this. So let me share my screen here, and I'll share desktop 1. Can you see that now? Nope,
No,
not yet. There we go, sorry. Okay, so here it is, and I'll go to OBS. It's just OBS actually. And that's what it looks like. obsproject.com is the web link. And there's a version for Windows and a version for Mac. So you can use either one. I'm on a Mac platform right now. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how it works. And the cool thing about OBS is that you can use OBS. In fact, actually, before I show you how it works, I'm going to show you what it looks like at the end of the, once you've got it all set up, so that hopefully this makes it a little bit more enticing. So let me stop my screen share. And I'm going to start another screen share. And this time, I'm going to screen share OBS. So I'll hit screen share and okay, can everyone see me?
You did Zoom.
Yep, okay, great. So I'm actually showing you the OBS mix right now, and I can move from camera only to perhaps showing camera. And if I have like, let's say that in my classroom, I've got a presentation about audio production, right? And I've got that going to the projector in my classroom, but I also want to show those who are watching at home. Well, with Zoom, I just have to press share screen. And then when I press share screen, I become this little tiny little box, right? While everyone looks at what is on my screen. And that's if I'm Zooming from the same computer or that I'm presenting on, right? But then all the kids in the classroom are going to see the Zoom meeting because I'm running Zoom and I'm running my keynote on the same computer, and that just gets to be, So if I've got a dedicated computer for my Zoom, and you just take a computer out of your arsenal this year and you say, this is my Zoom computer, this is the computer I'm going to use to broadcast my classes, right? Then you can send your keynote or whatever computer you use to present to the class, you can send that into that computer using a little USB to HDMI dongle. And USB to HDMI devices can cost a lot of money. There's devices that run upwards of $300 or $400, but I am actually using one, and you're seeing me broadcast on one that's 24 bucks. I meant to preface this entire meeting by saying that I am not going to be offering you all free solutions, but some of these solutions are going to cost a little bit of money, but hopefully they're going to be within budget, budget, whatever that is. So anyway, let me show you what I've got set up here in OBS. So if I wanted to show me and my presentation, then I have a scene set up for that. Of course, it's for some reason got a little smushed here for a minute. So I don't know why that is, but I can reset it. Actually, this is a great opportunity to show you how you can reset or you can move anything around to set these just how you want them. So here's my camera, and I can just move that around, and I'll put me right there next to my presentation. There we go. So hopefully right now you should be seeing me in the presentation, correct? Yes?
Yep.
Yes, everybody's muted, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, so now I can move through here, and this is a much better view using OBS. And I've even got my audio, which, HDMI. I have a cat, by the way, and he tends to, this is him. Hello. Okay. Anyway, he makes appearances at the worst times. But with HDMI, it carries audio as well. So if your presentation has music or it has a movie, then you can show that. In fact, I think I can give you an example here. Now, I'm not sure, is everyone hearing that?
No, I'm not hearing it.
You're not hearing it. Well, we'll see if we can fix that.
Hornswaggle. Let's go see what these
How about
landlubbers
now?
have to say. Privateer.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Awesome. So that's, and I'll show you how I'm getting that audio into this as well. That's a little trick, and that's going to be a piece of software that I think you're really going to like.
Privateers were basically pirates that were sponsored by governments.
Like I said,
a lot of governments actually encouraged piracy as long as these pirates targeted, sunk, and looted the ship.
Let me pause that because I realize that you probably can't hear me and hear that at the same time. So that's a way to show a presentation. OBS also, I could just go full screen on that presentation if I wanted to. And that way they can see just the presentation. If I wanted to just go full screen on the video, perhaps that I just showed. I can preload media into OBS. I can just put movies right into OBS and play them like this. Any fans of Stranger Things here? A few? Okay, so that's kind of fun. A few more. This is really fun because now we get to have some fun because you say, well, what do I do when I want to show something live in person, right? I want to show my students how to use something and I want to get kind of up close and personal, but they're sitting at home. OBS also lets you use your phone. There's a little software, a little app on your phone that you can use, and it lets you use your phone as a remote camera. Now you can also do this in Zoom, but with Zoom, there's only one source at a time. You know, so that's the big difference here. And again, like I mentioned, I had all these ready to go, and then for some reason my my camera got reset. So now I can kind of come over here. I can show you how to. Here I'm going to show you how to use this hard drive. You know, and forgive my desk is a mess, as you can see here. But that's how you can. Now that's tethered. That is tethered, but you don't have to be tethered. So there's also an option for wireless, and I'll show you that here. You can see in my camera, once again, all my camera sources have been reset. You know, it doesn't do you any good to prepare for a meeting and then have it all reset. Here we go. So I can take this app and say I want to connect wirelessly. And now I'll just unplug the phone, and that way you can be in a different room and you can be showing your students anything. Here's Riley the cat, right? And there's the, there's a stairwell with the movie posters. So there's a little bit of a delay on the wireless. It's maybe 2 or 3 seconds behind, but it's a really fun way to show your students live, maybe how to do something, or to show another student doing the demonstration as they explain it. So, okay. And you can do more than one source at a time. You could, like for instance, on this one right here, I'm showing the camera and the presentation and a live demonstration all at the same time. So that's kind of neat. At least I think I'm doing that. Maybe the live part isn't working right now because I've got it on a different setting. If you want to do this all from one computer, then you can show your desktop. So I've got a keynote presentation running on just another screen right now on the same computer that I'm running Zoom. And you can just share your desktop with this. And of course, you can share your desktop and a camera, which, like I mentioned earlier, for some reason, all my cameras have been reset. But like I mentioned as well, you can easily move things around and create exactly the look that you want. That's a huge presentation. My goodness, that video is taking up the whole world. So, all right. So that's OBS. And now I'd like to show you what it looks like behind the scenes, because I think it's a really fun way. Well, I think what I did is a really fun way to show you what it can do, but now I'd like to show you how easy it is to actually use. Let me share my screen again. So this is OBS. This is the behind the scenes. Gosh, I got to move all these things out of the way from Zoom. It's like I don't need all these controls. So here we go. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Yes, good. Okay. So with OBS, you have, no, I don't want to move the audio mixer. I just want to expand this. It doesn't. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay. Man. All right. So here are my scenes over here, and you can create presets, and that way you hopefully don't have to go back and adjust them anymore. So I can quickly move between a blank screen or camera only, camera and computer, the cam plus, or the media, right? Or cam plus wireless, or I'm sorry, the computer camera, which, oh, I know why it wasn't working, because this is the setting that's supposed to be plugged in, and my camera is not plugged in. So as soon as I plug it in, it should activate here. Maybe, maybe not. Well, I showed it to you. You know it works because you saw it working. So that's how easy it is to move between sources on Zoom. I'm sorry, on OBS. And as far as getting OBS over to Zoom, you say, well, how do you get this whole program into Zoom? Well, how many of you know that in Zoom you can share any part of your screen, right? Everybody know that you can share any part of your screen, right? So with OBS, you can right-click inside your canvas and say, I want a windowed projector, which just means I want a little window that shows me everything that I'm doing. And it creates for you a little preview window. And this is all the things that you're mixing right now, right? So when you go into Zoom, and you can see the Zoom controls here, my cat's messing something up behind me. I can press New Share, and hopefully you can still see this. Can you all see this right here? Yes? Okay,
Yes.
good. And I can just select OBS Window Projector as my share. And now you should have that OBS mix as the Zoom control, and then you just start to teach, and you've got your own little private mixer here of all your sources and all your signals. So it's a pretty nifty setup. Let me stop my sharing here. And I also want to stop here and see if anybody has any questions or ideas that hopefully this has inspired. As Riley tears up my notes from another meeting earlier today. Those are important. There's nothing in the briefcase you need. Look at this.
Andrew, could you show us how to create a source in OBS?
Sure. Yeah, I guess I should have done that. I meant to do that. Yes, absolutely. So let's come over here to OBS. In fact, I'm going to, let me share my screen again. All right. So I'm going to make a new scene collection, just totally get rid of the scenes I already have so we can start from scratch. So in OBS, on the left-hand side, you've already seen that you have your scenes, which are presets of how your windows are configured or how your sources are configured. And then under sources, see if I can make this any bigger here. Under sources, you'll hit the plus button to start to add a source, which is something that you're going to see or something you're going to hear. But for this circumstance, we're talking only about, you know, what we're seeing. So one of the things that we always want to add is we want to add a camera so that our viewers can see us, right? Move this zoom control out of the way. So I'm going to add a video capture device. And it says, well, are you going to create a new video capture device, or are you using a source that you've already created? Well, I haven't created any sources yet, so I'm going to use a new one, and I'm going to call this one just camera, because this is going to be the camera that's going to be filming me. I'm going to press OK. And then it says, all right, so what device connected to your computer is the camera are you going to use? And you can use the FaceTime camera that's built into your iMac or your Mac Pro, or if you're on a Windows computer, then whatever webcam is hopefully built into the Windows computer. Or you can use a USB camera device, which is basically that little dongle, and I'll show you it on Amazon, that I said it's $24, and it's a USB on one end and HDMI on the other. So you can take any camera, set it up on a tripod, and go HDMI out. Any high definition camera, sorry, I should say, not a standard def camera, and go HDMI out right into your computer. So I'm going to choose my USB camera. And then below that, it says preset, and these are just the standard sizes. So like 1280 by 720, you know, is like half of high definition, or the word high is down here, which just means choose the highest standard possible. And I'll choose high, and then there I've got my camera set up. And that's under this scene over here. And I can call this scene, I can rename it, and I'll just call the scene camera. The name is already in use. Well, I guess that's because you can't call a scene and a source the exact same thing, I don't think. So I'll just call this my camera scene. I can't press enter, I have to click off of it. Press enter, it resets itself. So that's my camera scene. Let me add a new scene now. I'm going to call this my camera and computer scene. And for this one, I definitely still want my camera. So I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to add a video capture device. It says, do you want to create a new capture device, or do you want to add an existing device? Well, I've already got my camera in the system. So I'm going to say I'm going to add an existing source, and it's going to be my camera. And there it is. I'm going to add another one. Add. And I have two options here because I have, let's say that I've got my keynote, my presentation running on this computer, the same computer that I'm running OBS. In that circumstance, I could say display capture and capture another one of my monitors, right? Or if I have two of those USB dongles and I've got a camera plugged into one and a laptop plugged into the other, then I could go back to video capture device and just choose the other. I'll create a new device because I haven't used this yet, and I'll call this my presentation. And then I would, under device, I would choose the other USB stick. And there's my presentation. And I've already shown you how easy it is to arrange how everything looks on the screen. You just click and drag it. You can scale it, move it around, kind of put these things however you want them to look. So that, and they kind of snap to the edges, so that's nice. It makes it easier to configure. The layers is all dependent on which one is at the top down here under sources. So if I want the camera to be on the top, I just move the camera up one, and now the camera's on the top. And here's my presentation. And then of course, maybe I'll do one just for presentation. So I'll make another scene called presentation scene. And for that scene, I'll add the video capture device presentation. And now I can move between those scenes. And I mentioned to you earlier that there's a lot of other things you can add. I'll just call this another scene. I'll call this scene 4. So I could add a browser. For instance, if I wanted to take the students to a website like I'm not sure if scholastic.com, but we'll go. A lot of us use Digital Juice. So I could type in www.digitaljuice.com, and I'll make that 1920 by 1080. And there's Digital Juice. So you could have a browser ready to go. Let me get rid of that here. You can put text on the screen. Maybe while the students are coming into the class, you want to just have a message for them. So I could say, welcome to class. Put your headphones on, which is that's a new one, right? And get out your notes from last week. I think the font's a little bit too big. I don't know what you think, but that's, there we go. So I can put text in. Of course, any of these can be combined with any other sources. And then of course I can do that wireless presentation I talked to you about. So it's called iOS Camera, and it is a plugin for OBS. So it doesn't come with it, but I think the iOS Camera app is $16, which you always want stuff that's free, but sometimes when you find something that costs a little bit of money and that's the only time you have to pay for it, there's two things I'm thankful for. Number one, I'm thankful that somebody took the time to create it, and if I have to pay a little bit of money to get it, then that's good. And I'm also thankful that it's professionally built, because sometimes you get those free apps and they're just not that, they don't run that well. I'm also thankful that it's not a subscription, because so many good things nowadays, they move to a subscription model, and it's like, I don't want to pay $5 a month for this. I'd rather pay $15 and never have to pay for it again. But anyway, so iOS Camera, and you can see it just popped up right there. And here's my camera. I can turn this sideways and it automatically changes to a landscaped view. And as you know, you can add any other source to this as well. So I can go in here and maybe add my camera again, and that way the students can still see me, and they can also, see what I'm working on. So that's a little bit about how to build it. There are some fun tools that come with, or not come with OBS, but that work with OBS. One of them is Stream Deck. And Stream Deck is sort of a little device that lets you pre-program buttons to control your broadcast. So you could take these scenes and put them on the different buttons, and then it would move between the scenes, which is a fun way, especially if you've got maybe a student who's controlling your broadcast, and it's great to say, okay, just go to scene 1, and you just press a button and you can move to scene 1. It's easy to configure. This is what the configuration screen looks like. And I could just go to OBS and maybe drag in a scene into this button right here. And I'm going to say the scene is my camera and computer scene. And I could even, let me put that down. I could even call this, camera and computer. Right? And so now you can see right there on the Stream Deck, there's the camera and computer button. It just popped up right there. And if I tap that button, then it fades to camera and computer. So that's the Stream Deck. Now this is the big version of it, which costs like, I think it's $250, but they have a small version that's just, you can't really see that, it's a little blurry, just 6 buttons, which is probably all you need. And that's much less expensive. It's under, I think it's maybe $100 or $98 or something. But it makes it really convenient to pre-program your scenes and then just tap on them, and you can quickly move between them without having to, maybe you don't even have to go back to your presentation, to OBS. So maybe OBS is in the background and you've got your keynote, and you want to be able to change things without having to go back to OBS and find the new scene. Well, you can just tap on it on your Stream Deck, and it'll change the scene. Questions or ideas or feedback or the winning lottery numbers, any of these things we'd love to hear any of those. You're all muted, so you're all laughing on the inside, and I'm listening to your laughter through the spirit of Zoom. Unmute yourself. Come on, you've got to have at least a little bit of feedback.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey.
Can you show us where to get the dongle on Amazon, please?
Yes, absolutely. Any other questions? Let me pull that up and I'll share my screen on that. Or feedback at all?
With the tethered option for your phone camera, is that a different application? What are you using for that?
Sure. And I'll pull that up as well. Let me just respond to a message here because I think somebody's trying to get in. As he says, some friends of his are trying to get into the meeting and they can't get in, and I don't see any. I don't see anybody waiting. I don't see anybody waiting for permission. How strange. Let me send him the invite link one more time. Give me one moment here to copy this link and paste it. There we go. Okay. So you were just asking about what the app was, and I'll show you that as well. Let me share my screen again, and I'll show you these couple of things. All right, can everyone see this?
Yep.
Great. So first, that dongle on Amazon.com. You know, I took a risk when I ordered it because there were, here we go. So that's it right there. And in fact, let me take this and I'll copy this link into the Zoom chat so that I think we have a chat here somewhere. I know it's chat. There we go. USB HDMI dongle. There's the link. So I took a risk on this one because, you know, there were so many other devices that were so much more expensive. And I thought, you know, surely I couldn't get just as good of a picture and just as good of an experience out of it says $29.99, but then you can see there's a little 10% coupon you can check, and that'll take 10% off at checkout. So that makes it $24. Surely I can't get the same awesome picture out of a $24 deal. And sure enough, I did, because I've got my camera connected to it right now. And I should mention, I'm actually using a Nikon camera as my webcam so that you can see how it looks to use a different camera than just the built-in webcam in Zoom, and it works really well. The camera app for going wireless, at least with OBS, is obs.camera is the website, obs.camera. And the app, you can get to the app right here, but camera for OBS Studio, and the app icon looks like that on your phone or on your iPad. So that lets you stream right into your right into OBS.
Andrew, is the
Yes.
Stream Deck on Amazon too, or do you have to go to a different website?
So the Stream Deck is on a few different websites. Amazon does have it is listed, but they're very difficult to find right now. Let me check on them again. So there's 3 versions of the Stream Deck. There's the XL version, which is this larger one you saw on my desk. There's the regular version, which is this one that you see right here. And then there's the mini version. So the regular version looks like it is on Amazon right now, or in stock. So that I haven't seen it slated to be in stock at all. But the mini version, let me see about the mini version here. Here we go. Only 3 in stock, order soon. I have not seen them in stock in a long time. So the fact they even have 3 on Amazon right now is a pretty good thing. And I don't see any of you reaching for your keyboards, so I assume there's no battle to go get one right now. But there's 3 in stock on Amazon. I actually got mine from a website called Micro Center, which is listed as one of the official resellers of the Stream Deck by the Elgato is the company that makes this. And so Micro Center had them when nobody else did, and they may still have some. This is searching a store in Houston, but anyway, so Micro Center may have some. For some reason, I've got it searching the Houston store, which I had a friend in Houston who I actually had pick up the XL for me because Amazon didn't have it. I said, can you go get this and ship it to me and I'll just pay you for shipping? And so he shipped it to me. But they had the mini in their online site. And for, like I said, I don't know why when I search for it, it's only searching Houston, but it is, there we go. Well, it's sold out. What a shame. Sold out at the Houston store. I don't want the Houston store. I just want online catalog. Here we go. Online catalog. Stream Deck. Now it's still sold out. Well, anyway, but Amazon has them. So there you go. And Best Buy has them when they're in stock. The Best Buy also sells them.
I just got one through Amazon, so there's only 2 left.
Oh,
I was
good
busy.
for you. Yeah. You didn't look busy. That was
I was sneaky on my phone.
that was very sneaky. Am I still screen sharing? I guess I'm not, am I? Am I?
Nope.
No. Was I ever screen sharing?
No.
Oh. Well, somebody needs to say something, because this whole time I'm thinking that you're seeing my screen and I'm showing you all this stuff.
But you were having.
Well, we saw the other stuff. We didn't see. We haven't seen what this whole search you're doing right now.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway. Now, there's another piece of software that I mentioned. One of the most challenging components of all of this is actually not the video. OBS is free. The HDMI dongles are not very expensive. And for those of us who are teaching ITV or teaching video production classes, we already have the equipment, most of the equipment that we need as well. We have a camera, we have a tripod, right? But it's the audio that can be tricky when it comes to a Zoom presentation. And the reason is because with Zoom, and I'll share my screen again as we talk about audio. So, and let me minimize that. With Zoom, if we look in the Zoom preferences, here's my Zoom preferences. Move this out of the way here. I have to ask, can everybody see this? Give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Great. So in the audio preferences of Zoom, you've only got 2 options here. You've got your speaker, which is how you're going to hear your participants, and then you have your microphone. So what source is, what's the source of all the audio that your participants are going to hear? And there's only one, you can only click one. So you say, well, how do I do this? I want to plug in a microphone into my computer so that they can hear me really, really well. Or I just want to use the microphone that's built into the computer. Either way, that's a source. But I also want them to be able to hear the presentation, or I want them to be able to hear some music or whatever it may be. How do I get more than one audio source into Zoom at the same time? So I have found a program. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to show you the program that I'm using right now. And then I'm also going to explore a program that may be cheaper, because the program that I'm using right now is it's not free, but it's really cool. It's called Loopback. Let me show it to you now. This is Loopback. And what Loopback allows you to do is to create virtual audio devices. I'm using one right now. You can see in my settings of Zoom that the microphone that I have selected is Zoom Presentation. Well, what is that? Well, Zoom Presentation is a virtual device I've created, and you can see you can create as many as you want and turn them on or off. I've got one here called Zoom Presentation. And here are all the sources of audio that are being funneled into Zoom Presentation. Say, well, you know, how do you do that? Well, let me show you. So I'm going to get rid of this. Right now, if I open up Apple Music and I play some music here, I really shouldn't be worrying about which, since this says Pop Hits of 2010. So I must have downloaded this when I was. It doesn't matter what I play, Andrew. Just choose something. No, I can't just choose. Okay. Anyway, so let me play a song. No, I don't like it. Just the Way You Are. There we go. That's a fun song. Okay. Can everyone hear that?
No.
Right. Neat. Right. So I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to add a source, and I can add anything from the computer, any application that has audio at all, or I could add an audio device. But right now I'm going to add the music application. She's so beautiful. Now, could you all hear that?
Yep.
Yeah. And you can see here I can control the volume of that going into. She won't believe me, and it's so sad to think that she don't. So with Loopback, you can take any audio source from any application in your computer. So if your Keynote has a movie in it and you want them to be able to hear that, right? Then I could get rid, or let me delete that. I could press plus on source, and I could add Keynote, because it says it has a list of all the applications that are running. So that's an easy way to find the audio you need. I could press Keynote, and now anything that Keynote plays is going to go right into my Zoom session. So it's really a great, great app. I love it. It makes it very easy. You may notice, by the way, you see on my Scarlett here, which is what I've got my microphone plugged in, that I've only got it plugged into the right channel. But when I speak, both the left and right channels are getting audio, so that those who are watching at home aren't going to hear my voice in only the left or the right ear. And that's pretty cool too. I'm going to turn my microphone off so you can see how I do that. So let me do that real quick. I'm going to delete this and add it again. So now I've added the Scarlett. How many of you, if you're listening through headphones, can only hear me on the right side? Maybe not, because Zoom may just be a mono thing, but you can see here that now my audio is only coming through the right channel. But I can take the right channel and just click and drag and say, I want you to send the right audio to both the right and the left output channels. And you can do that for any of your sources. So again, this is a really, really neat application. It's made by Rogue Amoeba, which is just the funniest name. And I'm going to tell you, here's the trick here that I haven't. I had a Southeastern meeting this morning at 9 o'clock, which I didn't get home from that until 3 o'clock, and then I had a meeting at 3, and I really wanted to get a chance to explore another piece of software from Rogue Amoeba that's less expensive than this, but that may accomplish what we were trying, what we can accomplish with this. And here's why. Because Loopback is $99. Now, the nice thing is that it's not a subscription. So you pay for it once and you have it forever. And I find it really, really useful. I use it a lot for being able to combine my audio with any other source on my computer, so that when I'm doing a Zoom meeting, I don't have the awkward, can y'all hear that? Let me turn my speakers up so you can hear that. I mean, have you been a part of a Zoom meeting in the COVID whole thing where somebody's trying to present something and they try to turn their speakers up and you can, you know, so you can maybe hear their audio. It's just, it's not professional. It's not fun for the listening audience. It's not, it's not a great experience. So Rogue Amoeba, and they make the software, it's called Loopback. But they also make another piece of software called Audio Hijack, which is less expensive, and it kind of does the same thing. And they make another piece of software called Sound Source, which is even less expensive than that. I'll briefly show you Audio Hijack. It is really cool. Audio Hijack lets you, it lets you build out your sound sources and put effects between them. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let's say that I've got, I'm using my Scarlett to get my audio. So I'll take an input device, and my input device is going to be this Scarlett USB where my microphone is, right? And I want to send that input device to an output like my AirPods, you know. But at the same time, I wish that it sounded better. So I'm going to add some EQ right between those two things. And now I can EQ how my microphone sounds right there before it gets to my output. And you know, I also, you know, I know that I'm sending this out, but I also want to record my audio at the same time so somebody can go back and listen later. So I'm going to also send it to a recorder, and that way it'll record the audio. And these can be really complicated. You can even do what's called ducking. And what ducking does is it says this audio is more important than this other audio. So let's say that I had music coming from one device, like I'll say gaming, get rid of this. And then I have my microphone. I can add a little duck in here, and whichever audio is on the top is now more important. So they will both play, or I'm sorry, it'll get audio from both, but if I'm talking, it's going to turn this audio down automatically. And when I'm not talking, then that audio comes back up again. And if I want to make that audio more important, then I just move it over. And now this one has a little duck icon, and now it's less important. So this is a really neat app as well. It's not my recommendation because it's probably a little bit more complicated, but it's actually cheaper than Loopback. But what this doesn't do is it doesn't create a virtual, I just realized this. This is probably something I should have realized earlier. This doesn't create a virtual microphone, which is what we need, because in Zoom, you know, you have to select, okay, which microphone are you going to use? And Zoom creates those virtual microphones that are made up of all the sources you want them to be made up out of. And this does not do that. So this kind of works with Loopback, but it isn't a good replacement for Loopback. But the piece of software that I haven't had a chance to explore yet is called Sound Source, and it's only 30 bucks. So if this is, I think it's only $30. Yeah, it's $29. So Sound Source, and they just now, you can see here it says, what's new in Sound Source 5? They just now released a new version of it. And I want to be done here at 5 o'clock, by the way, 4 to 5, so I don't want to take up any more of your time than an hour. They've just released a new version of it. And it says, get powerful control over all the audio in your Mac, add effects, and then choose where the applications go. This application is at this volume, and it's output to, you know, this source. You know, I'm just realizing, and of course I haven't installed it, so maybe there's something in here that I don't know of. But once again, it doesn't create a virtual output that you can send these things to, which you can then select in Zoom. And that's what you really need. So it looks like Loopback is the way to go for this. Loopback lets you create virtual audio devices and then choose all your sources and loop those all in. And I wish that I could tell you that there's a less expensive option for aggregating all of your audio into a Zoom session. But at least for the Mac, I haven't found any better application than Loopback to do that. I did search last night, and I looked for an application that might be free. And the option that it came up with was called Jack, like plugging in a phone jack, or, you know. And I tried it out, and it's really, really clunky. And it didn't even run with Mac OS Catalina. And it was, James actually saw it, and James can testify to the fact that it was not nearly as user-friendly or as functional as Loopback. So I can't, it's free, but it didn't work for me. So I guess that doesn't really matter. So that's how to process audio and get the audio into your presentation. The other couple things I want to mention is at Southeastern, they're asking us to record our lectures so that students can watch them later. And if that's something that you're interested in doing, just so that way maybe you don't want to teach live, but you would like to be able to record just a lesson for your students. If that's the case, then OBS is a really great way to do that, because with OBS, you can start recording at any time. Right down here, you see where it says start recording, and you can record this, and it records in whatever quality you want. In settings, you can select the quality of your recording. It's in output, and it says recording, and then recording quality. And it's locked right now because I'm busy, but you can select what quality of the recording, and then you can take that and you can put that on YouTube or Vimeo or Schoolify or Schoology or Scuba Dive or whatever it's called, and you know, that way your students can watch it later. But this lets you record all these scenes, which is a really great way to create a professional presentation. If you are going to interact with students live in Zoom, but use OBS, then I would record using Zoom, because that way you're going to be able to record their audio as well, and you'll have the entire experience, not just the OBS sound. And that'll be a good way to capture your session for later viewing. If you're going to record just with OBS, since we have a moment, if you're going to record a presentation just with OBS, and it's a great software for recording a presentation, then you're going to have to get your audio into OBS as well, so that it's going to be hearing you, right, and listening to you. So in order to do that, for each scene, you're going to want to add your audio as a source to that scene. Let me show you how to do that. It's really easy. In the camera scene, I'm going to hit the plus button, and I'm going to choose audio input. Audio input. And just like everything else, it says, okay, what is this called? And I'm just going to leave it as audio input. You know, that's easy enough. And so then it says, all right, what device are you using in order to capture your audio? And you can see here that I've got the option of a built-in microphone, which is built into the iMac, or the Scarlett USB, right? But I also have the option of these virtual devices that I've created, like my Zoom presentation, which has all of the different applications that I want you to be able to listen to, all aggregated into one device. So I can choose Zoom presentation, press OK. And now you can see as I talk, it's capturing the audio as well. And if I go, and now here's the trick, you need to make sure if you go to camera and computer, you can see here that audio source isn't present anymore. So if I were to move to this scene, all of a sudden it wouldn't be capturing my audio. So you'll have to add your audio input, and you can add the existing one, right? Add the audio input to each scene that you create. So that way, as you move between scenes, your audio will be present on each of the scenes. And I'll do it one more time. There we go. You can see on this scene right here on scene 4, iOS capture, it's capturing wirelessly from my phone. And my phone itself has audio that's coming in as well. So that's kind of cool. And you can see this is your audio mixer. So let's say that you had audio and you're like, you know what, I don't want my phone's audio. I don't need them to hear that. You can just click the speaker and mute that. And that way now your viewers or whoever watches this, they're not going to hear that. They're not using that anymore. You're just using that audio input capture device that while I'm here, I guess I could show you. This is here's the Nikon camera. And if you look back there, you can see, if I can zoom into it a little bit, there's the USB dongle. I can't really, can I zoom in more? Yes, I can. There it is. Just plug right in there. So, and it's working pretty well. Okay. Well, that's all I got for you. We have 4 minutes left, and as all of you know, I never end a workshop early. But anyway, do you have any questions or anything that's come to your mind as okay, here's my situation. How would you, how can we work around this? Or I'm really am happy to help in any way I can.
Are you recording this?
I am recording this, yes.
Can you send this out?
No, it's my intellectual property. Yes, yeah. See, I want to hear Wendy laughing, but all I see is.
All right.
Okay, see, thank you. I mean, because it's really awkward. Imagine if your students could do that in person. They're sitting there live in front of you going. Sorry, I muted myself. Anybody else have any questions that I can help answer? Nope. All right. Yes, I will put this on to, I don't even know what I'm going to put it onto. I was going to say put it on the Vimeo because I'd always put it onto Ignition TV's Vimeo, but I don't have access to that anymore. I'll put it somewhere, and I'll send it to the 5 of y'all. Or Jeanette, are you still in here? You hiding?
Yes, sir. I'm still here. Hi.
Okay. Hello.
Hi. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I hope it's been helpful.
It has been super helpful. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Terry, since I don't have access to the secondary, if I send stuff, it'll go to junk mail. Can I send you a link to this recording and then you can send it to the people in the room? All right, cool. Great. All right, y'all. If you have any other questions that pop up or you dive into using these solutions at all and you need some help getting it to work in your classrooms, just send me an email or Facebook. I think we're all on Facebook. You can Facebook message me. That'll be an easy way to get a hold of me. And I'd be happy to help get you set up and get you going. Okie dokie.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you,
Hey,
sir.
you're welcome.
Take care.
Good to see all of you. All right.
Thank you
Bye,
very
y'all.
much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
I'll see you.